Okay, so we're going to talk about in this video, what does it mean as a conscious creator to take responsibility for everything that has manifested and is currently manifesting in your reality. So you definitely want to stay tuned for this. We're going to talk a little bit more about why it's important and how it can help you move forward and really possibly have your own breakthroughs in regards to understanding everyone as you pushed out on a deeper level, or even just law of assumption on a deeper level. All right, hey everyone, it's Kim Velez, a conscious life and success coach, and I'm really excited that you're here with me today. I want to say hi to everyone and welcome you all back. And I want to, before I dive in deep, I just want to remind everyone that if you feel like you need additional support other than my free content, I have a master list of my services that I'm offering. I have email coaching. I have my self-concept online course. It's a 28-day program that I have created. I'm done with it. The link is below on that master list. I also have how to manifest your SP back and keep them for good online course. I also have, private one-on-one video coaching sessions. I have an amazing VIP Zoom group coaching program where every month, twice a month, we jump on Zoom together as a group, and whoever shows up, I record it, and then you have access to the replays for a month. And we show up and we do hot seat laser coaching right then and there. And, it's such a fun experience to work together and help people get their aha moments, see things click, get their brain back on track to help them continue to get what it is that they want. So all of that stuff is available on the master list below. All right, so I want to talk about this because I think this is really important, because there's a lot of people get it. A lot of people really, at least the people I'm working with, like they really get it. They understand that, you know what, I manifested this. I think the problem that they have is, even though intellectually they understand that, there's still that emotional reaction. There's still, that kind of connectedness of believing that this person is separate from you, and that, they're showing up in a certain way that maybe isn't favorable, or that is hurtful, or they've done things or said things that didn't feel good. And a lot of people struggle with that, of understanding that I created that version and taking responsibility there. So let's talk about that, because this is really fucking important. And this is where you will start to shift more and understand everyone as you pushed out more and more, and learn how to react less and less to the 3D. And then also decide for yourself, like, is this something I need to put my energy into? So you have to take responsibility for your life. But we're talking more of a spiritual concept of this, because so many people really struggle with this. They still want to blame. They're stuck in victim state. They're stuck in, I'm not the operant power state, which is victim state. They're not remembering or even really truly understanding that their consciousness is what has created their reality. So whoever's showing up in your life that's, causing some discourse or emotional issues for you, it's not them, it's you. So you have to take responsibility for it. Now, you don't have to engage with them. You don't got to fucking deal with it. You don't have to put yourself in any kind of situation that doesn't feel good, but you have to take responsibility for, you manifested this experience into your existence. You manifested this version of this person into your reality. And using your power to connect to the beautiful mind that you have, to actually consciously choose the new concept of self or the new concept of them that you prefer, so that you start changing the story. Or even with money, if you're broke, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, or struggling and not even getting paycheck to paycheck, if you're not getting promotions, if you're not getting raises, if you're not, doing these things with money, you have a negative concept of money, and which is the story of money, and you have a negative self-concept when it comes to money. So you are affirming subconsciously that I am broke, I don't get what I want, this isn't working for me, I'm never going to have money, et cetera, et cetera. So again, your consciousness creates your reality. So it does not matter if you are aware of what you are thinking. In fact, most of you are not. This is why it's called awakening, because you start to wake up to your mind. You start to wake up to, hold up, I have this power, and all my thoughts are, creating my life. So if this is good, if this is working out for me, great. If I would like something different, then what am I doing to help my mind focus on that something different? And you have to take responsibility for that. This isn't about going outside of you and expecting everybody to change around you so you feel better. That does not work. That is not you using your power. And it's very, very short-lived if you even get it, to move in your way at all. So you have to take responsibility. If you're sitting here, you need to check yourself. If you're sitting here every day and you're complaining and you're bitching about this and you're just regurgitating an old story about something over and over again to anyone who will listen, I mean, my goodness, you go in the YouTube comments and fucking see that no matter what coach is posting a video about don't reaffirm the old story, here's what you need to do instead, there's still like 50 fucking people that they just have to. They can't fucking stop themselves, right? Well, they can, they're choosing not to, but they fucking go and repeat the whole story. And it's like, you're the one that keeps perpetuating whatever it is in your life. No one else is. So again, if it's favorable, great. You already have programming that is on autopilot that's working out well for you. But if it's not, are you taking responsibility? Are you looking at your life in this area and like, fuck, I got to take responsibility. I'm the creator of my reality. No one has free will. I don't care what the other coaches say. They don't. Everyone has to conform. Everyone has to conform. Everyone will conform to move to get you what you want. So, you have to conform though. How many times do I say that, right? Like you aren't the one that's conforming and everything is within you. So you have to change in your consciousness, in your mind, this story of what you believe is happening, the story of what you want to happen, the story of what you're assuming is happening. You have to fucking change it. You are the only one who can change it. I cannot change it for you. You have to change it. So when do you do that? When do you take responsibility for it? And this is a process because there's people, especially with manifesting the SP back, they've created a version of the SP that's really, really shitty. And this SP version has done some really shitty things. And then people are so upset, and I get it, but you have to keep reminding yourself and studying this stuff that, okay, hold on. I created this version. Maybe I need to do some forgiveness for myself for that version because I'm the one that had a story that this person had to fucking conform to. So I have to take responsibility for manifesting that into my reality. And this is what it means to be a conscious creator, right? This is what it means to really start understanding and mastering concepts of everyone as you pushed out. No one is perfect. No one, like I say this 100 times, there is not one manifestation coach or one coach out there that believes in this stuff and actually lives it, because some preach it, but they don't live it. But the ones that actually live it, like, they're still not going to do everything perfectly all the time either. Why? Because we're fucking human and we have 70,000 thoughts that we can't micromanage. So you see what's showing up in your life and you say, yes, I like it. No, I don't. If it's in the category of no, I don't, then what is it that I want? And you have to do that inner work to change your perspective of what you see is happening, to change your perspective of who these people are in your life and how you want people to show up for you, and to change your perspective of who you are, that you are the operant power. You have to get out of victim mode. There's people that they are not taking responsibility and they don't get what they want and they wonder why. They sit here and watch all the videos and then they bitch in the comments and say like, oh, well, this doesn't work and people shouldn't believe it. And it's like, your every comment you write is a negative story. You're stuck in victim state and you refuse to help yourself. So that is on you 100%. So if you're someone like that, you have to take responsibility. The same, I had to too. And this is why people struggle, because they don't want the responsibility. Because if you take responsibility, that means you're the one that has to change, not out here. And some people don't want to change themselves. So they make excuses after excuses after excuses. And some of you, the ones that aren't doing that, again, it's a process, right? So it's like we understand these things. The more you learn about this and understand it, you start understanding it more deeply. And it's just this beautiful process that unfolds. And you see yourself thriving, you see yourself growing, you see the progress you're making. Even if you don't have the final destination of what you want, you understand everyone as you pushed out, this whole game is about me and they're just all reflecting me. So if I don't like the fucking mirror, don't get mad at the mirror. Look at you and say, all right, I got to keep working on the story. That story is still dominant because it's still manifesting. So you just keep working on you. It's also, this is kind of like a ramble because it's like a lot of comments and different things. And I wanted to address a bunch of things that were very similar. But it's also about understanding that you have to persist. Like, just because you change your story, and I know people are like, Kim, but there's some of us that have been doing this for a long time, like a year or something, but I always challenge that. And whenever I ask the question, when I'm doing like a one-on-one with them or something, and I ask them, okay, when did you really get on point with your mental diet? It's never been as long as they're saying that they've been doing this and they haven't seen any movement. It's always significantly fucking shorter. And then I say to them, and have you had any evidence in your 3D to show any reflections of any new story you're saying? May not come from the SP, it may not be the exact dollar amount you want, but hello, has your 3D been conforming at all? And then the answer is yes. So then I call their bullshit right there. I'm like, so you have to see what you're doing, right? When your self-concept is in victim state, when your self-concept is saying, this isn't working, I'm not getting what I want. When your self-concept is, I'm not good enough, I'm rejected, they don't want me. When your self-concept is, I can never be rich, I can never have money, that's like, that's not part of my life, I can never attain that or whatever, right? When you have a self-concept that is defeating, you will continuously look for the evidence and you will attach meanings to everything in your 3D or dominantly in your 3D that says you're not getting what you want, because it has to fit your self-concept, because you see the world through your lens of your self-concept. That is your perspective. If you have a self-concept of I am not good enough, then you go into every relationship feeling not good enough. You mistakenly think they're the ones making you feel good enough because they're reflecting back to you the story you're running in your mind when you first fall in love with someone. And when it's really favorable, they're just reflecting back to you your story. You're feeling loved, you're feeling special, you're feeling amazing, you're affirming this beautiful story. They love me, they're so into me, this feels so good, I'm so excited, right? You're having this whole different dialogue in your mind that they're reflecting back to you. And then usually what happens with a lot of people, I know this is what would happen to me, if I started developing feelings, all my old concept self would kick in, and my old story, my abandonment themes from childhood and just different things, and I would start creating a whole different internal dialogue that was not favorable. And that's how I've manifested, the patterns that I've had in my love life. So this is what I'm saying, is that you have to take fucking responsibility. No one is acting outside of you. They're only conforming to the role that you're actually assigning them. So if you choose not to take responsibility, that is also your prerogative. It's a free fucking world. Do what the fuck you want, but don't sit there and bitch. Like, nobody wants to hear it, because you're the one that is refusing to understand the fucking magnitude of the power that you have. And the power that you have is you have this God self in you that is creating your reality. And you have so much power that all you have to do, easier said than some days, I know, but still, all you have to do is focus and reprogram this internal story to focus on the outcome you want. And the best part is, you don't even have to do it perfectly. You don't have to do it 100% of the time. You only have to do it dominantly, and you'll get what you want. That is so much easier than having to make people move on the outside and do things and all this stuff to get what you want. You don't have to do anything. You just go within your mind and you train yourself to focus. And again, some days is easier than other, because you're literally battling your old concept of self versus your new concept of self. The brain wants to stay comfortable, what it knows, status quo. So when you start affirming a new story of who you are, and you start affirming a new story of a reality you desire, and your brain likes it in the beginning, because now you're manufacturing feelings that feel nicer, and your brain likes that, your body likes that. But then it says, hold up, this is not who you've been. For 15 fucking years, for 10 years, you've been angry. For 10 years, you've been not chosen and rejected. For 10 years, you've been broke. For 10 years, you've been not getting what you want. So when it starts feeling the difference too much, it's going to want to pull you back to what it knows best. And then that's where the internal resistance comes from. That's literally what the struggle is. And it also happens when you're affirming for an SP or you're affirming a new reality for yourself, it feels good. There's lots of moments you're feeling on cloud nine with it because, again, your thoughts create your emotions. So you're thinking favorably and you're living in the wish fulfilled. You're going to feel better naturally, right? But then this is what happens too. Your brain, that human part of your brain, wants to say, oh, this feels nice, but hold on. You have this whole story in your mind of this whole life you're living in here. But every time I look out here with my five senses, guess what? It's not matching. So it wants to fucking pull you back to what it knows to match your 3D. So that's where you get internal resistance. That's what internal resistance is, because we don't believe it because we're not experiencing it regularly and consistently every day with the five senses. So you have to take responsibility and understand what this process is going on inside of you and keep pushing the fuck through it so you can get what you want. That is the only way. Because even when you manifest it in, if this is your pattern, if this is your programming that you need to change, you will fucking lose it. People lose their money all the time because if there's a story that I'm not good enough to have this, I don't deserve to live this way, they feel fucking guilty for having this money, whatever it is. So even though they were able to manifest the money in, at some point they'll end up losing it. And it's the same thing with the SP. There is no difference, except the SP talks back to you and the SP is either giving you affection or they're not, right? So people get more triggered emotionally through a person rather than money sometimes. And this is understanding that you can manifest your SP back from a shitty self-concept. All of us have fucking done it. They don't last because you have the same story. So this is what I'm talking about, that you really need to slow it down. You really need to take full responsibility for everything in your life that you have created, because you are the only operant power in your reality. You are the only one who can control what's in their mind. You're the only one who can train their mind to focus on what it is that they want and to push through the old concept of self and the old thinking patterns and the old emotional patterns until you become this new version of you more than not. So I was a bit of a ramble, but I wanted to address all this stuff because some of you are going to need to save this video and rewatch this like 100 times until it really sinks in good, because this is what it means to be a conscious creator. This isn't just, oh, maybe I'll get something, maybe I won't, or, yeah, law of attraction, because that's what people will say, like law of attraction works, even though I'm not teaching law of attraction. They'll say law of attraction works, but it didn't work over here, it didn't work there. Or some of you will say law of assumption works, but it didn't work over here and it didn't work over there, and da-da-da-da-da. And then you start doubting, and then you start, believing that there's outside forces, and then you start to believe that everybody has their own free will and no one conforms and you're powerless and you have no say so. And then where does that get you? In the same reality where you don't have what you want, or you manifest them back in and you lose them again because your perspective hasn't changed. So I hope you found this video helpful. Please like, share, and subscribe if you did, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.